Welcome everybody. This is Sci 4 workshop number 5, Renewal. Now, the reason for this workshop is we'll be refreshing some of your Sci mind techniques, and we'll be going over what possible things you can add into your workshop as you go into your workshop. I know for myself, one of the things that I hear a lot, or one of the things I say a lot too, is when I think about what I learned in basic, what I learned in MLS and everything like that, I think about it all and I say, wow, I wish I did workshop more. Well, you know what? This will be one of the things that would get you to do workshop more, because in this awesome workshop we'll be going over techniques and tools and things that you can just throw into your workshop to upgrade it. You know, give it a little upgrade so you can do way more than you thought you could. And maybe if you do it, maybe you can even get even more than you know. So we're going to start. This first technique that we're going to talk about is the project book. One of the main facets of Sci is you can only gauge your life by results, often harsh, but always fair. So when you think about what you're doing with your workshop, you always think, oh, I'm gonna workshop this project, and you know, magically you think the result's gonna happen, right? So in this instance, we're saying the importance of a project book is so that you can keep track, right? So you can look at, so you can really put tracking into what you're doing. You're gonna take a blank page in your project book. So take a book. You're gonna list it as project, your initiation date, initiation date, expected date, technique you're gonna use, time or method you're gonna use it and implement it, and then you're gonna give yourself feedback on your results, so that you know, the better you get, the more you use workshop, the better you get. So how do you know you're getting better if you're not tracking your stuff? So as a quick example, do a little quick one. Project, write a book, create a new business or so. Initiated today, expected end date a month from now. Technique to use. What workshop technique are you going to use? I put down screen of mind, possibly water technique, whichever one you think you're going to use. It's like how I would solve a problem when I do physics or something like that. I would get all the formulas together, all the knowns and stuff like that. So get all the formulas or all the techniques you think you're going to use, and just state it all out. So you have a plan, right? A plan to use, time of when you're going to do it, and then give yourself feedback on the results you get. So that's the importance of the project book. The next technique we're going to talk about. Before I go, is there anybody else want anything clear on this one?
What was the word before water?
Yep.
SOM.
Screen of mind.
Screen of mind.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Nice.
Just example.
Yeah, as an example, for instance. That's what I did.
So this is an actual physical book.
Yep, actual physical book that you use to. However you want to track it, whether you put it in a physical notebook or you write it down. But I think the way I see it is, the purpose is to really just keep track, so that you know. How do you know you're getting better if you don't really see the results yourself, or if you give yourself feedback on the results that you're getting? Okay. Let's see. Next one are some different sleep techniques you can use with your workshop. So the first one that we talked about in the basic, or I remember Portland talking about as a basic, is awaken control, which is setting your mental alarm for the day. So before you go to sleep, get yourself ready, get yourself to your workshop. I'm going to wake up 3:30, I'm going to wake up 3:30. You would get yourself into your levels, and you would set that mental alarm clock for yourself. So that's pretty self-explanatory. The next one is sleep induction, which I understood as meaning if you can set your alarm clock, right, for when you're going to wake up, you should be able to train your mind so that you can train yourself to sleep. So in a similar instance where you put yourself in your workshop and you're thinking about, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to be energized, I'm going to be this, that, I am going to be awake at this time. You can also train your mind to, at this moment, at the time I want, I am going to sleep. I am going to relax. I am going to put my eyelids are going to get heavy, to tell yourself in that way. In this instance, all of these, the way all of these techniques work is similar to how they describe your mind, right? Your mind is a very powerful tool, right? It can do anything that you want. So train it to actually do the things that you want. So that's what all of these techniques are. It gives you a method you can come back to every time so that your mind will do exactly what you want. So awaken control, I'm going to wake. Sleep control, sleep induction, I'm going to be relaxed at this time. It's going to happen. I'm going to go to sleep. The water technique we took care of in, what was that?
With David.
Yeah, with,
the first
what was that?
session.
David, what was your?
Problem solving?
Yeah, and the water technique we worked in problem solving, but we're gonna go over it again here, saying that this is also a technique you can use. You know, it's related to going to sleep. So what you do is, for those who didn't hear that whole method, you keep you keep a full glass of water next to your bed before you go to sleep. You drink half of the water, and as you do, you relax and you roll your eyes up and you tell yourself, this is all I have to do to get the solution to the project I have in mind. Yeah. So then you do that, you're setting your mind to work in automatic. As you go to sleep, you're telling your subconscious to work on this problem. This glass of water, this half glass of water is all I need to find the solution to the problem I'm working on. As you go to sleep, your subconscious is working, right? It's working. Whether you wake up in the middle or you just wake up. When you wake up, you take that other half of the glass, you drink it, and you say it again. You do the same relaxation technique. You come up, you say, this is all I have to do to get the solution to the project I have in mind. Ron has a pretty cool story on that one. Okay.
Yes, I just want to share briefly. Since David introduced us to this technique, I found that it really worked. In fact, I was over at Next 10, and recently I've come back from Korea. Every night, almost without fail, I turn in at about 10 p.m. and I do exactly as Jason says. And almost without fail, at about 12:30 in the middle of the night, I wake up. I got my answer. And so I actually have a notepad or something that I write down what it is. Most recently, I've keyed it into my smartphone and just type it in here. So that way during the day, when I'm a little bit more lucid, then I can read what I wrote and reinforce some of my goals and some of my plans. So it really does work.
Awesome. Thanks, Ron. The last concept I have on here is meditation, which we've gone through the basic in terms of when I think of that, it's saying meditation in terms of energy boosts throughout the day whenever you need to. When I think of that meditation thing, I think of the relaxation cycle, which is exactly how we say it is. Like we presented in the basic, where you would go through the cycle, and this was enough to give you what was the number? 3 hours of sleep.
4 hours.
4 hours of restful sleep after doing the relaxation cycle. Yeah, that's pretty much what I saw from that. Anybody got any questions on these concepts? There's going to be a couple, much more. Jill, yes.
And I don't know if you know the answer, anyone else?
Yeah.
On the awaken control, sometimes I want to wake up later because I'm going to sleep so late. So I always get up at 6 or 5:30, and I want to sleep till like 7 because I've gone to sleep at 4 or 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone know if I can't get it to work? I'll go to sleep at 3 and I'll still wake up at 5:30. It's like reverse.
David, what do you got?
So one thing you can do is, as you go to sleep, quickly go into your workshop and then imagine, visualize a clock, and then set the timer on it.
Set the timer on it?
Yeah.
So as opposed to wake up at 7 to say sleep for 4.5 hours or something?
No, so
Set it for whatever time
Set
you
it
want.
for whatever time you
set
want
it
to.
for the time
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually visualize a clock.
Yeah.
And have the
Okay.
number like, you want to wake up 8 o'clock, have that number firmly implanted in your mind, 8
Mhm.
o'clock.
Okay.
And see the picture of 8 o'clock, like an alarm clock.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
visualize an alarm clock and hear the alarm clock going off at 8 o'clock.
Awesome.
I was sharing that with Mark one time, where I was doing that as a little kid. Actually, I didn't even realize it. Where I'd set the time and without fail. get up or go to sleep.
Awesome, thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
David. Thank you, Jim. Yeah, I was about to say, whichever, since the way however your workshop works, whichever is the most powerful visualization you can get, whether it's the clock or whether it's an action you're gonna take at 7, right? It's like, oh no, it's gonna happen at 7 or something like that. Whichever feels strongest, I would have visualized that, or hear it, or taste it, whatever. Oh, maybe a cup of coffee, right? I'm gonna smell coffee when I wake up at 7. You know, maybe however that works. Whichever is gonna be the most powerful sense memory. That's what I think. That's what I think would work. Give that a shot. Okay. Next concepts we're gonna go over are screen in the mind. We all know this one. There are a bunch of techniques that we can use screen in the mind as a quick visualization or a quick review. We have the 2 screens, right? So the one with the surrounded by black border. This is how we see it as now. I'm just using it as a vast difference in what we're looking at. How we are now, 1.5 years, something like that, right? Then visualizing the screen with bright lights surrounding it and exactly how I want it to be. There's going to be a couple of concepts that are related to screen of mind and memory in this piece right here. So after the screen of mind, there are 2 mnemonic devices that we want to go over that you can use in your day-to-day. One's going to be memory pegs, and it's going to be a little more freeing than the one that you learned in kids, what we call basic for BFK, basic for kids, because this is your system. Memory pegs is just another system of way to learn a list. So, in terms of, for me, I like learning a list. A list is easier for me to learn when things rhyme, right? So, for 1, I'd say gun. I think of a gun. 2, I think of a shoe, right? I think of a shoe. 3, tree, easy, because that's how I say tree anyway. So, 4, door. I would see the thing coming out the door. So, pick a way for you to remember your list 1 through 10. It's something you can easily come back to and remember, because it's going to be your system. When it's your system, you can own it and you can use it exactly like how you want it, and it's easy. The next concept that we're going to talk about is the finger and thumb. I should have took more space to do it, but I'm going to explain it to you guys so it's going to be easy. The finger and thumb technique is similar to how memory pegs work, because memory pegs, you're taking a list of ideas and you're putting it to a memory of each number. Finger and thumb technique is more a kinesthetic kind of thing. So what you're going to do is, it's going to help you memorize either or recall a lecture or a book as you're reading it. So what you're going to do before you get into the lecture or the book, you're going to prepare. You're going to get into your levels. And you're going to say to yourself, I'm going to remember. I will remember. And while as you're preparing, you're like rubbing your finger and thumb together, or you're tapping. It's similar to how tapping works, yeah? You know how you would give yourself a trigger. This is just a trigger for you to remember what the thing is. So you're in your lecture, you're in your levels, you're prepared. I will remember this. I'm going to remember this. During the lecture, you're gonna continue on with the finger and thumb technique. So as you're seeing it consciously, you're also feeling that sensation as you're moving along, and you're adding it into your subconscious because you're opening yourself up for it. After the lecture, you're gonna bless you. After the lecture, you're gonna revise it you're gonna review it at alpha. So you're gonna come back out of your level. You're gonna review it quick, and then you're gonna keep on with the finger and thumb technique, and then you're gonna tell yourself, I have impressed it. I will remember, over and over and over again. So if you ever need to recall, you could just give yourself the trigger. So the idea behind this is similar to how a lot of the other things work. It's training your mind to work for you. It's getting into your subconscious. So this is just another technique so that you can recall, so that you can remember, so you can come back. Just as the memory pegs is another technique that you can recall, you can remember. remember. It's giving a system so you can bring it back.
The subconscious always remembers. It's
Mhm.
just, it's the recall that's the challenge.
Yeah. So make it work for you.
And the more association you can pull together, the easier it is to trigger a recall.
Mhm. Think of your. Oh, go ahead, Doug.
Question. So
Yes, sir.
let's say I've done this for several times. So like, oh, I want to remember this thing. I want to remember this thing. I want to remember this thing. I
Mhm.
remember this thing.
Yes.
Now I got a dozen things to remember.
Uh-huh.
So I wonder what that thing was. I'm gonna remember. I rub my finger.
Huh?
It automatically sorts it and categorizes and whatever. Or
Well, yes. What we're doing is you're giving yourself a system to sort it, because your mind, since what Ron just mentioned, your subconscious never forgets. If you're not gonna do anything to store it, then it's just gonna go into your subconscious or just go into your mind. Because I feel the same way when I remember something and I have no way to remember it. I'm gonna remember everything kind of connected to it. Like, oh, I remember talking to you the day. Oh, I remember I was scratching my leg that day. Oh man, I remember that's the day I had gum on my shoe. Oh yeah, that's the one. The car was red. You know.
so essentially, if I don't do that, it goes into RAM. But if I do this, it goes into the
Yeah.
hard drive.
Yeah, because you're actually filing it. You're making a folder. Is what this is.
And what you're really doing is you're conditioning yourself. As an example, if you had 500 sheets of paper, you just pile them up, it's just a random mess, pile. On the other hand, if you segregate them into little folders and you put them in a filing cabinet, then it's very easy for you to just locate a folder, pull it out, and all the relevant material is there.
Yeah.
So in effect, you're helping to construct and reinforce a mental filing cabinet. And when you get things, you have the mental habit of filing it away.
Mhm. I mean, I wouldn't file all this. I could file it here. I could file it here. Yeah, I could do it different ways. And yet, it's just, to me, I see this as using a different way to remember it. So you're storing it with a touch, with kinesthetic. So I'm looking at it.
Do you have to use fingers, or could you use different
Yeah.
claws?
I use different parts of my body when I
Yeah.
do it. I'd be like, oh, rich, or something like that. Smart. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
What you got?
if I could chime in, I love that you asked that because, so I just quit smoking 4 days ago. I've been,
Awesome.
Nice.
I've been chewing on plastic, right?
Mhm.
I got it in my mouth. Every time I want a cigarette, I just kind of rub that plastic in between my teeth. And yeah, I'm grinding plastic, but to me it's better than taking a cigarette. And then I run through everything, kind of like the lecture to myself. I'm done. I'm no longer a smoker. I don't need that. I'm saving the money. It's reaching my goal. And I literally, as quickly as it comes in, it's gone. And like, so it's just easy. The day, like throughout my days, it's been coming up less and less. And I notice I'm not rubbing the plastic as much. But that's my trigger. That was awesome.
Awesome. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Buzz.
And just as an example of the finger and thumb technique, a variation of that I use. At our church, when we have choir practice, at the end, we go around asking people for their prayer requests. So imagine a room of about this size. We may have a few more people. And usually each one has a specific request. So the key is to memorize all of that and be able to offer that prayer. So what I do is, as each person says, you know, I have one, I put that person on this finger. That's the first person. Second one is I do this. I'm actually doing this and holding it while they're reciting what the request is. And I absolutely make sure that I know what it is and remember before they move on to the next. So I've gotten lists as long as like 16, never missed. 16 requests. It may be a little slow on the recall, but I've gotten them. And the rest of the people are totally amazed. But I tell them, if you keep doing this, you condition yourself, you'll get it. So that's, Doug, what the essence of that is. You know, go with it, and you'll be surprised as to how long a chain you can build.
Thanks, Ron. Yeah, so that's pretty much where Screw the Mind leads to our mnemonic devices, leads to our interesting filing system that we can use our workshop for. Next concept is pain and headache control. There's couple interesting ways we can do this one. The first one, which is listed on our workshop sheet right here, is just a simple descend into your levels. Go once for tension headaches, go thrice for migraines. Once you get out of your levels, find something that you can do to absorb your attention from where your headache is at. Or, yeah. So that's the one method you can do. Or you can do this.
Draw a mustache?
Yeah, draw a mustache on. No.
I like
No. Yeah, mustaches are cool too. This was a technique that was taught to me, that was told to me that Brian Clemmer really loved to do. And anybody got a headache right now? Anybody got any pain that they
I
can?
deal with chronic pain in my elbow.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Okay, so we're gonna all do this together. I'm gonna run you guys through.
Takes a few moments.
It takes a few moments. It does.
Just so everybody get here.
So everybody get comfortable again.
Yeah.
Who has the headache?
We got Melissa and we got Jill.
It's the bug.
And Jill?
Does
Jill
it have
too?
to be a headache?
No. Any pain? Do you have any
If
pain?
you have any
Yeah.
discomforts,
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Your
Alright.
finger, your knuckle?
Yeah.
it'll work. I mean, we say headache, but it's
Yeah. We can everybody close your eyes, relax, get into a great spot. And as best you can, descend into your levels. Into your workshop. Actually, what we're gonna do is we're gonna set you up in front of your favorite scene in nature. Pick anything you want, but as long as you can see the horizon in the distance. All right. Now, in this instance, I want you to, just like what we did in our grounding, think about your pain. Where is it? How big is it? What color is it? I want you to give it more thought. Give it so much thought that it becomes a thing. Can you point to it? You know exactly where it is? Do you know how much it's hitting you? Now, hold that thought. Make it real. And I want you in your nature scene to stare into the horizon. Look out into the horizon. Just look as far as you can see. And I want you to know that you see a white dot out in the distance. Now notice that white dot is moving a little bit. It's actually getting bigger and bigger, a little bit bigger. As it gets closer and closer, you notice it's coming to you. And then as it comes a little bit closer, you can make out the shape of it. It looks like a little bird coming towards you, closer and closer and closer. As it starts getting closer, you notice that it is coming exactly toward your direction. Now I want you to imagine this bird come right to you. It's gonna land on you. It's gonna be right near where that pain is at. Whether it lands on your shoulder, or on your hand, or on your arm, it gets to you. Now I want you to notice, this is an awesome bird. It's gonna reach into your pain center, right where it's at, right where you're seeing that pain itself. It's gonna grab it, because it's in control too. It's gonna pick it up. It's gonna fly away. Now see the bird flying farther and farther and farther away into the horizon. Now it doesn't look like a bird anymore, it looks like a white dot. It goes farther and farther and farther until it disappears. Now I want you to thank that bird, thank your pain, and thank the scene of nature that you've just seen. I want you to come back right outside to your workshop, bless yourself with the white light, and rise up in your levels. Feel the ground on your feet. Feel the presence of your neighbors around you. And bring your consciousness more and more into the now. when you're ready and you're here, open your eyes. Awesome. And that's what I mean by the mustache. But we're gonna call it the bird. The bird technique. Yeah, that's what we call it, right? The bird technique. I like that.
So Melissa, how do you feel now? Same?
Well, I'll have to see because it's in my right arm.
Yeah,
so
you're.
the more I use it.
Stop writing notes.
So I'm gonna-
No.
And Janelle, how are you feeling?
It's less.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And Jill?
Jill, anything?
Still there.
Still there? No, is it less?
Maybe.
I would say mine is less.
I think I need to do it again.
Yeah, I think the more
Get a bigger bird.
change it, maybe the bird.
Smarter bird.
I like calling it the bird technique because I'll be like, oh, in pain.
Well, you
No
know,
way. You know that's.
I was thinking that the beak would be kind of sore, picking at my finger. So
Maybe I gotta add that into the narration.
It
Where
just
it's like,
slides right.
it
I was
slides
thinking
right
of
in.
like a-
I totally forgot about that part.
like a puppy or something, licking
Yeah.
my finger as opposed. to...
Oh, that'd be nice. Oh, that's cute.
They
I like
do
that. I think that'd
Try
work.
that out.
Try it out. Maybe the puppy will work. Puppy technique. Patented. TM.
Like the pain away.
I call out. Copyright tag.
Thank you very much for sharing, guys, and thanks for participating. So that's where we're at with pain and headache control. So similar to, that's why I kind of did the same thing with a similar technique as we grounded. It's the same thing. You visualize, you get into your levels, you get into your workshop, you visualize what it is that you want to let go or what it is that you want to focus on. And you can do two things with it. You can either really focus on it and you can expand it and make it bigger, or you can let it melt away. So that's one of the more powerful things you can do with your workshop. You know? Okay. Anything else before we head on?
The descending 3 times?
Yeah.
Does that mean, what exactly does that mean to descend 3 times? into your level?
Yeah. The way I take it is, you know what it means to go down into your level, right? So you would either count your 12 to 1, go down to your level,
Okay.
or you would do your colors and.
I
Because
see.
the way I see it is when you get down to your levels, right before you hit your workshop, you hit yourself with a white light, right? So it's like that healing white light. Like, oh. So by the time you
Just
get.
do that 3 times.
Yeah,
like,
do it 3 times.
Do the
yeah.
colors and the white light, and
Mhm.
do the colors and the white light, and then do the colors and the white light.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I'm seeing it, because it's like, it's the same as like, you're stressed when you're hurting, especially if it's a headache and stuff
Mhm.
like that. It's something that's on your mind. The way I see descending into your levels is a way of calming, right?
Mhm.
So. Especially if it's a harder one like a migraine, then you're getting into you're calming thrice. It's such an old school word to say.
Yeah.
So thrice, you're gonna do that, and then so similar to how we did the bird technique. When you return to the outer, you do something that absorbs your attention, right? So what you're doing is you're giving it, you're focusing on it, and then when you get back out, you're like, okay, let's do something else. So my mind works on something else while I'm doing that. In the same way, the bird takes it and flies away because I'm thinking about it
Okay.
leaving.
So do something to absorb your attention could be anything.
It could be anything because
You
once
come
you
on
once
your
you come back
levels,
into consciousness, your
And instead of
levels.
just sitting there
Yep.
in like the same meditative state,
Yes. Do something constructive.
find something to
Yeah.
grab your attention and then
Yeah.
focus on that
Mhm.
instead. Okay.
It's something as simple as I'm gonna go wash the dishes now.
Okay.
Or like do this. Yeah. So that's the way I see it.
Kind of related to major pain. You remember that opening?
Yeah. You want your what's that? You want
You
your
want me to do something to take your mind off that pain, boy?
That's right. Just like that. Just like Damien Wayans in Major Pain. Thank you very much, guys. Okay, the next one we're gonna do is similar to how we did the screen of mind. So this one is habit control. So in this instance, say, Ron, what was an example you want to use for habit control?
Oh, diabetes and rice.
Diabetes and rice.
White rice.
White rice. So this is a bowl, right? And this is
I mean,
White
after all,
rice.
about 10% of Hawaii's population has a problem with diabetes.
I'm so proud of you of both, man. It's
And
good.
white rice is a major local factor. People
So say you wanted to curb your craving, right, for white rice. In a similar way, it could be anything. It could be white rice. It could be, how do we try? Smoking. It could be a cigarette. It could be another kind of cigarette, maybe. It could be whatever you're craving for. So what you're doing is, what we're saying is, in habit control, your screen of mind is powerful. Especially this black one right here, that you say, I don't want to see it anymore. So what you're gonna, what you're gonna say to yourself is, whenever you feel the craving, or to start not wanting it anymore, you would visualize it on your black screen. Put a black X through it, and then tell yourself, never again. So, at the same instance, that will help you not hit the not want to reach for the cravings that you were looking for, as in habit control. What you want to do in this other instance is what do you call it? In the white light screen, use your screen of mind to say just exactly how we use a white light screen. Like, okay, I'm not gonna eat rice anymore, or I'm gonna control my rice. No, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be super active, hooray, all that, or, yeah, and I can run now because I'm not smoking so much. You'll see you see exactly what you want, and you hold that vision. In the same way you use screen of mind, where you look at how it is now, and that's not how you want to be anymore. You could use it as well to X out the things that you want to not do. I'm not gonna smoke, never again, never again, and then constantly imagine yourself, the picture the perfect end result at your other end of the screen of mind. And that's habit control. Anybody got any ideas or any questions on this? Pretty straight.
So your mind is a genie, right?
Yes, exactly.
So if you're telling yourself never again,
Uh-huh.
how does that work?
Because it's in the context of your screen. So when you're seeing it on the black, when you're seeing it, what you're doing when you see the black end of the screen of mind, you visualize it, and then you forget about it already again, right? You're somewhere in your subconscious, things will come up again. Then you just throw it back on the black screen and say, hey, never again. Just to remind yourself. The more and more you do it, I know what you mean though. I know what you're saying, Janelle. It's like, no, they don't know no, right? Your genie doesn't know no. If you say, never again this rice, all it knows is, yeah, rice. Or yeah, ganj, or whatever, right? So it's kind of, but the way I'm saying is, that's the power of that black screen, right? You're taking it and you're doing your best to forget about it, because that's how you use the screen of the mind, right? You go, this is how it is. I picture it here. Okay, I accept it for what it is. Now let's look at where the positive is. So I see it as that. That's where I see the power of it. In that context of genie doesn't know no, and I forget about it, because using the screen portion, using the screen method is exactly what it is. It's like, throw it away. Throw it away. It's gonna come up again. Throw it away. So that's where I look at it.
So would you tie some emotion to the white screen?
Yes.
The lit up screen?
I would. It's the same. It's the same as you would not. Yeah, you would tie the emotion to how it is on the black screen. So on the white screen, you would think about how joyful you would be with this perfect end result. How excited you would be. How much faster and not fast. Fast is not an emotion, but you know what I mean. It's like how much better.
How much
things
joyous.
would be. Yes, how much joyous everything else will be when I'm in this state. So hold that picture and throw the other one away. Ron, you got something?
So Janelle, maybe something that will help you with that one, because I use something like this. So the white rice, in so many words, essentially is excess sugar, and in the bloodstream, the excess sugar basically becomes a solvent. It's like gasoline, and it literally dissolves your body. So that's why you don't want excessive sugar levels. So what I do is I do that. I put my finger at the rice and I go, damn. Because that's what it is. You eat too much white rice continuously, you will literally kill yourself.